Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. What a bloody day. Just a really bloody day. What's going on, Josh? Of course I did. I loaded that bad boy up heavily. I do have some other swings as well, which I'll pretty much get to. I know it's Friday. Everyone has stuff to do. Everyone wants to get out. It's been a pretty long week. We'll keep it really brief today. Nothing crazy. Probably try to keep this quick 10 minutes or so. Welcome in for those of you just joined in. Welcome in. I wonder what's actually going on in premium chat. Let's see what if there's any action in premium chat. What are they talking about? Who won a contest? Okay. What is this contest? How many trades would it take to turn $1 into 1 million, aiming for 10% gains per trade and going all in every play? Tamakaze would think about something like that. He really would. And 145 trades to make that happen. That's insanely crazy. Who would do that? Starting off with $1 to make $1 million. 145 trades. You got to be crazy to do something like that. I don't know who would do that. But all right, let's get started, guys, real quick. I mean, why did I click on that? All right, so pretty bad day here today. We actually saw us actually fall out from this ascending channel on futures here. That was not a beautiful candle by any means. That was a really horrible day. What is a good sign is that Super Fortuna went off today. That's the bright sign of the day. Is Super Fortuna went off right into power hour today, and we saw QQQ went off. So we're expecting tech to get a strong bounce on Monday. We also have the Feds on Monday as well. I believe it's Monday and Tuesday that we have the Feds. So that's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster there. But however, I do expect a nice move on Monday. We'll see a nice little recovery, which you would say is a relief rally for this dump that we had today. We'll see that play out on Monday. And then we'll hear what the Feds have to say, whether it be about rates, about inflation. We'll hear all of that, and that kind of will set the tone for next week. And so I'm expecting more downside come next week. We'll likely get a nice little push right up to resistance here on this ascending channel on futures on Monday. And believe it or not, yeah, I'm expecting a little bit more downside before we try to settle down, and we'll see what kind of formation is going to form. But I'm not expecting to just see straight blood through next week after a relief rally that we have on Monday. Maybe a little bit more of a downside, probably catch another level of support down, maybe another leg down, and then we'll actually get a little bit of a chop and see what formation trends come the middle of next week. And we'll get there. When we get there, we'll pretty much discuss and see what's going on at that point in time where the market's trending after FOMC when they set pretty much the tone of what the week is going to be. All right. And of course, Nasdaq, just a quick image. Let's see what Nasdaq is actually doing as far as my wedge that I had. I haven't changed anything really. We still have that broadening descending wedge that's going on. And so we actually caught a nice little support. Looks like a double bottom right around 15,276 on Nasdaq. And so I actually understand why QQQ went off then is because we had a nice double bottom there. And so now we'll see what that rally does. We'll see the strength of that rally. Now, what would like to see is probably get a nice little push right over this level. I believe this level will be what I want to see is 15,472. That's where I want to see if we really do get that strong push off of QQQ from that Super Fortuna alert. Are we really going to push above that level? Because then we're going to likely see resistance here. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for come Monday, that level right around there. And we'll see how it reacts to that resistance level. If that Fortuna alert actually does come through for us as it should, and we'll see what the strength is. All right. So that's what I'm looking at for futures on NASDAQ. Other than that, for flow, we didn't have that much that went off TLT was bearish. We had a rapid flow go off for that. Again, that was a 10-15%. We had Tesla go off bullish twice. We were hovering around that 760 level this morning. If you heard me and Avery going back and forth on live this morning, we were pretty much looking at Tesla with that 760 level. He was really bullish on it. I wasn't as much bullish on Tesla because of how much it was fighting that 760 level this morning. It needed to get over 761 to really make that push. And of course, the market wasn't favoring that. So actually, if I could pull up the Tesla chart and actually show you pretty much what we were looking at there on today's action. Let's see if I get into this morning's action, which we were right about here. This is where we couldn't get over. This is the little hump right here that we are having trouble getting over. Let me see if it actually double topped or some sort. I don't remember exactly. Maybe I have to go down to the 1 minute. And yeah, that looked a little bit like a double top right there. So we saw a little bit of double top formation there around 760.88. 760, yeah, 760.88, and that's when we just dropped down. And you could say this was a little bit of a channel, a little bit of a sideways channel. So once we ended up breaking that support, we dipped, and as you saw, we retested, and that's when we ended up flushing down. And that's what I ended up taking puts. He was in calls. I didn't really say that I was in a put because the when you actually are seeing the market flushing the way that it did so early into the morning, it's usually a good sign to take a step back. Don't try to force a trade. Don't try to necessarily chase the downside per se. You want to take a step back, see what's actually trying to push, and I usually try to short that push because I would rather short into the market bleeding out like that, and that's what I did with Tesla. I waited to see what level it was struggling at, and then the market forcing it back down. Rather than trying to force something that there's no momentum, there's no continuation. That's really what the issue was with Tesla this morning. There was no real momentum or continuation that you were expecting on that, especially with the key level being 760. And that's the thing with Tesla also. There's very key levels. Like prior, I think that was on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. We were going back and forth between 745, 750, and on that day I actually mentioned over 750, then Tesla was going to be bullish. Under 745, Tesla's going to be bearish. So that's one thing I've noticed with Tesla is that there's very key levels. Once it breaks up, it's going to fly. Once it breaks down, then it's usually going to just kind of roll over. And that's what basically happened with Tesla. Other than that, we had Apple. I know that Apple's very bullish for next week. I saw a lot of flow coming in on Apple today as well. There were flow coming in for 147s and 148 for next week, so definitely keep that on watch for next week. I know that also Tom alerted this adder. There were rapids on adder. I think he got like a quick 25% actually off of that. I don't know if it was because of how heavy he went in maybe, or if that was actually the average profit on that. So we'll see what Adder does if we get any kind of continuation, because that was one of those squeeze plays. But that was a quick 20% that you could have averaged on for that. That was a beautiful one. GM, I didn't particularly look at this one. I didn't take that many trades today. Let me see what GM did today. Let's see what time it actually went off. Maybe I can backtrack and see what time GM went off real quick. Get a quick update on that. See what the action was. We had the TLT put flow. All right, so here goes our GM call, rapid call. That was at 12:20. Let's take a look at 12:20 here. So about 12:20, you got in right around close enough to this candle, which was right around 51.30, and you had a nice little push right up to 51.47. So it was a little bit on the penny side. That one wasn't exactly what you would like to see. Probably got squeezed out maybe 5% on that. So that one was a little weak. Rapid call flow, especially in this type of environment, it's a little bit more skeptic. So of course you want to be a little more cautious about that. The environment that you're in usually says a lot about it because yeah, there may be the buyers that are probably triggering that. And let me actually see what expiration. They actually took next week expiration. So that kind of said a little bit that was an aggressive same week expiration. So that's something that you would have wanted to pay attention to because of the fact that they bought for next week. So they're buying they're looking for upside next week, not necessarily this week. They're just buying what you would say is buying the dip, basically. Okay. Other than that, there wasn't much other flow that went off today that was that interesting. Let's see if there was any leap alerts that went off today. Of course, we had one that went off on Baba. Let's take a look at Baba. Let's see what the big picture is. Of course, we never trust China. Definitely don't trust China. Let's see what Baba looks like. And why am I still on the 1 minute? Let's scale out to the daily chart. All right, so was there any kind of double bottom formation here of any sort? I still have a wedge going on here, and there is a gap fill that I actually had highlighted. Let's see if we get a little bit deeper in. Was there a double bottom formation here? And I see why it actually alerted. So we do have a double bottom. Looks like 153.71. Right around that level, we have. It looks like it was triggering some kind of double bottom here. That maybe buyers stepped in there. Let's see what their actual play was. They bought 165s for September next year. Okay, let's actually delete my chart here. Let's see if I can scale out and look exactly on a bigger time frame. Going back, what was it actually looking at here? Maybe go out to the weekly. See the weekly. See if they picked up a key level. Maybe that's what we're going to be looking for here. Did they pick up a key level on Baba? Okay, so the level that they picked up on was right around here. So as we see, that was actually a drop point of support at one point in time. That was a resistance level at one point in time, and just breaching right around that support level. Now, did they get in a little bit early? I kind of want to think so, that they got in just a little bit early. The level that I would actually particularly be watching is more so around that 147, close enough to 150 mark, if you want to say so. I think they got in a little bit early. Again, it's hard to trust China. I will say that again. It's hard to trust China. China is not necessarily a name you want to trust. But yeah, I kind of like this level a little bit better. Right around that 148 level is what I would be watching for. Is that close enough? Yeah, 148 is that level that I particularly would favor of getting into Baba Leaps on 148. Could they have got in early? Again, it's a leap though. So you're not looking for short term. When you're looking at that, you're looking for at least 6 months and greater when you're getting out long term positions like that. I want to say greater than 12 actually. So that's why they went out to September of next year. So it was an alright play. Starbucks, let's see what they were noticing. Maybe that's some kind of double top formation real quick. And then let's see. Looks a little bit more like a head and shoulders that they were looking at. I want to say that's more of a head and shoulders formation that they're looking at there. See if we find out exactly where that triggered. Yeah, I'd like to say it's more of a head and shoulders. And I don't even actually have to draw that line. But you actually see that you have a left shoulder right here. You have that head. And then you have that right shoulder formation right there. So that wasn't exactly, let's see, has that gap also. That's the interesting part. Let's take a look at it. It's right about there. And I think it's right about here. This would be that neckline that they were looking at. So I do like that. I do like that call that they made there. It did break. It does have a nice head and shoulder formation there. So that's a beautiful one. It's likely going to catch a little bit of support right around this area, which I would say is close enough. Let's see what the better level of support would be. See where our support levels are. All right, so I would look for support right around this level. Right around 111 is you're going to be your first support level on this drop. And did they actually get leaps? Let's see what they got. Wow, they went out pretty darn far. They went out to January of 2023. All right, so that's about. No, that's not that far. That's only about a few months. So other than that, let's see what other level they were looking at. And I didn't mean to put that there, but let's stretch it out, see what levels that they're looking at. Level right around here. Let's see where our resistance levels are. This actually looks like a beautiful level of support also. Right around that 105 level. Looks like we topped out intermediately here, right here. Looks like a little bit of a top. And then you ended up finding a little bit of support on the way down after it collapsed. So that's just a few, but I understand why they took that leap play in big picture. That was a fat head and shoulders that you have going on there. So that's another one that went off that triggered today. Other than that, I don't think there was much that went off for minor flow for that matter. Let me actually see an announcement real quick. Let's see if they actually posted if what minor flow actually went off. We get a quick picture. Breakout alert. Today's breakout alerts from Myrna. Okay, yeah, that was not a breakout. That was not a bullish breakout. I gotta find out about that. Qualcomm, 4 times the alert. Okay, let's take a look at Qualcomm real quick. Okay, Qualcomm did not do so pretty. Yeah, that was pretty much a staircase down. Staircase, staircase, and oof. Let's see if they're looking at support right around this level that's triggering that. Let's go out to a little bit of a bigger time frame. Did they catch support here that triggered that? See where our support levels are. Let's see. Okay, yeah, the support level that I would have liked to see was here. That's the support level I would have liked to see. It's a little bit broken here. I think it's probably doable. You're definitely gonna get a bounce come Monday with the QQQ alert, but we'll see what that does. I do like that. I would like to see it at least hold right around this level of 132. So if I move this down just a little bit, this will be where I want to see it hold. If it holds there, that 132, which we're likely going to see a little bit of a drop come open. So it'll probably open right around the support level. And then we'll see that get a nice push. So I do see that 4 time alert going off. Other than that, we also had SPY. Of course, they're buying the dip on SPY with QQQ pushing on that tuna alert going off. We'll see that likely on the bounce on Monday. And then Apple, of course, is part of the QQQ Super Fortuna. So I understand why they bought the dip on that. And INTC is also under tech as well. So those will all likely get a nice push. Other than that, I think it was a little bit more of a quiet day. You saw the guys pretty much plotting out on Myrna. That was a bleeder. Avery was pretty much all over Moderna. We saw Tom with Adder. I believe he was also calling out Disney as well. So that was another beautiful one. Seasonality, Starbucks usually has its best performance in October. It's likely that they probably have their best performance as far as their actual finance books, maybe. But that chart looking like a head and shoulders, I didn't particularly like that. I didn't like how that head and shoulders looks if you're looking at the daily. And it looks like it actually broke trendline support if you want to put it that way. Yeah, pretty much they broke trendline support. So that was a beautiful drop right there. If you see, it actually broke that trendline support. It's going to get a little bit of a retest probably come Monday on that actual support line. So it'll test as resistance now, and then we'll see it come back down. So I think it peaked out around that 126 level. We're going to test probably maybe that single digits in the hundreds there, probably getting up close enough to that 105 level, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I think you will catch that 105 support level, and then once it hits that 105 support level, then we'll see that reversal. But as far as seasonality, that pattern is not necessarily looking bullish to me for the next 2 months. I want to say. I want to say 2 months because this can actually drop pretty fast, but it's not looking bullish until it gets to that 105 level, big picture, and then we'll see it catch support, and then I would actually look for calls at that 105 support, and then we'll take that back up. All right. Other than that, I think that was pretty much a quiet day, other than Super Fortuna going off at 3 o'clock. It wasn't necessarily a day that you wanted to really force trades, especially. Now, again, when you look for strength on days like this. That's one of the biggest things that you see. Like Tesla was pushing strength for most of the day. There was a lot of call flow coming in on Tesla. Those are one of those names that, yeah, it has relative strength compared to what the overall market conditions are. And that's the key thing to look for on days like today when the market's just bleeding out like that. What stocks are showing relative strength? I believe Disney was also one of those names that I was actually very interested in. Tom actually called it out as well. I believe Dan from our server actually got a nice swing entry on that as well. I'm actually in Disney for a swing as well. That's one of my positions I'm holding with Tesla and with QQQ. Those are the three positions I'm primarily holding going into next week: Disney, Tesla, and QQQ. So we'll see how that plays out. I do also actually have a small position in Facebook. So again, you look for those key stocks that actually are showing relative strength compared to how the market is performing and how other stocks are just bleeding out for that matter. All right. Other than that, it's Friday. You guys go rest up. Hopefully, you guys get some studying in this weekend. Take a moment, look at some charts, look at the larger time frames, look at the key support levels, especially when you see days like this that the market's just bleeding out. But you guys have a great weekend. I think that kind of wraps up our session today. And we'll see you guys bright and early on Monday then.